the edge of the far north, a north wind lashes at 40 miles per hour, minus 40 degrees. Fahrenheit clamps the lungs, yet the polar bear keeps moving, precise as clockwork. It reads the wind, checks for cracks, and listens for the faint breath beneath the ice. Everything building toward a single moment. There is no margin for guesswork. There is no room for hesitation. One successful hunt can sustain it for many days. Failure can mean weeks of hunger. And today, which way will that moment tip? The polar bear is the largest land-dwelling carnivore, with adult males weighing from 900 to 1,600 pounds and measuring about 8 to 10 feet in length. Its massive body is wrapped in a double layer of white fur and a fat layer up to 4 inches thick, providing insulation in temperatures that can drop to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Not only powerful, they are also refined movers. Paws reaching up to 12 inches wide act like natural snowshoes, spreading weight while moving across thin ice. A highly sensitive sense of smell allows them to detect seals from over 1 mile away. In a world where the line between survival and hunger is determined by stored energy, the polar bear represents pure survival mastery, strength, patience, and absolute adaptation in a realm of unyielding ice and wind. The Arctic is home to 6 key seal species: ringed, spotted, bearded, ribbon, gray, and harbor. Their total numbers likely reach into the millions across the ice edge, an energy reserve that sustains many predators. Among them, ringed seals measuring 4 to 5 feet and weighing about 110 to 150 pounds are frequent targets. They build small lairs beneath deep snow and maintain several breathing holes roughly 8 inches in diameter to draw air. Each time they surface is a gamble, because above the smooth ice, danger may be waiting. Above, the polar bear watches with patience. It moves slowly, placing 12-inch wide paws onto the ice, like a hunter feeling the heartbeat of the wind. Once it identifies a breathing hole, it can lie motionless for hours. A keen sense of smell can detect warmth and vapor from nearly half a mile away. When the seal rises, the ice goes completely still. In a moment shorter than a single breath, the polar bear secures its target. A successful hunt is uncommon, but each one is a reward for long days of cold and patience. The success rate for each seal hunt is only about 10 to 20%. Most efforts end in silence and hunger. If it fails, the bear must continue its solitary journey, walking more than 20 miles per day, sometimes for many days without food. Every step on melting ice is a test of endurance and the ability to conserve vital energy. On ice that thins with the season, each hunt is a fragile equation of energy, time, and opportunity. In that world, there is no luck, only persistence and the ability to wait for the exact moment. Late in the Arctic summer, when the tide recedes on a roughly 12-hour cycle, channels from river mouths narrow like a funnel. White belugas, 10 to 15 feet long and weighing 1,100 to 3,300 pounds each, are forced to pass through tight gaps with fast currents. The bear chooses a low, rocky outcrop, stands upwind to observe, measures the water's rhythm, listens for breaths rising against the ice, and waits for the moment to launch into the water. When the pod moves too quickly, it switches to swimming along the channel's edge to press the formation to turn. The polar bear is a master swimmer, able to sustain about 6 miles per hour for long periods and hold its breath for several minutes, unfazed by the current. But that tactic does not work. The belugas change direction instantly, diving out of reach in a split second. The bear does not waste energy. It leaves the rock and follows the channel for a few more miles to find another narrow opening. This time, it chooses an ambush strategy. When its sense of smell and hearing catch the rhythm of breaths under the ice, the moment for a burst of speed arrives. The advantage of sturdy paws and powerful claws is put to work at exactly the right time. The chase ends quickly, cleanly, and in silence. Not every ambush succeeds, but in this narrow gap, timing favors the patient one. The course of the encounter shifts in a single sweep of water along the ice edge. As late-season ice flows split and drift, cold waters open travel routes for narwhals, the so-called unicorns of the sea, with tusks up to 10 feet long and body weights nearing 3,500 pounds. They often move in small groups, swimming along the ice edge to find food, and at times approach shorelines where polar bears may be concealed. It is hypothesized that encounters between the two species are rare, but not impossible. When the tide shifts, narwhal pods may be forced to pass through shallow water near the coast. A polar bear can stand on the ice margin, observe from a distance, then choose a moment to slip into the water to intercept or swim alongside to break the formation. Yet in most cases, such surges end in failure. Narwhals are fast and strong, able to dive deep to escape. On a rare occasion, a narwhal remains is pushed by currents toward the shore. For a polar bear, it is an unexpected gift from the ocean, a valuable source of energy that helps it recover after many hungry days. In the bitter wind and pale northern light, the scene is not cruelty, but part of the balance within nature's cycle of survival. Along the ice fields off Svalbard and in the Chukchi Sea, polar bears sometimes approach walruses, giants over 10 feet long and up to 3,000 pounds. With skin nearly 2 inches thick, and tusks extending more than 3 feet. Walruses are formidable and not typical targets. Each encounter is therefore more opportunistic than planned. As summer ice breaks up, hundreds of walruses gather on large floes or sandy shores. The bear must choose its moment. Focusing on a younger or weaker individual that has drifted from the group offers the best chance. Yet even smaller walruses can respond powerfully, often causing the polar bear to withdraw. On land or in water, the advantage usually lies with the walrus. Hunts of this kind rarely succeed. The rate is very low because adult walruses can mount strong defenses. However, a newborn walrus can be a valuable find, a rich source of energy that helps the polar bear sustain strength through many cold days. In this severe, frozen world, survival belongs to those who make use of every bit of energy, where patience and adaptation are the only keys to endure. In the harsh world of the Arctic, sometimes life is forced to choose the most difficult path. When extended melt seasons limit the ice and food becomes scarce, a polar bear may turn its attention toward its own kind. This is not common behavior. It is a survival response when energy is nearly gone and opportunities to hunt are almost zero. In these moments, an adult male may overpower a cub by using weight and speed to separate it from its mother, pushing it towards the ice edge. The mother's desperate resistance may not be enough to change the outcome. The chase ends in silence, with only the wind sweeping across the ice. It is not cruelty or moral failure. In a world where energy is everything, such decisions come from the deepest instinct to stay alive. In the Arctic, morality is not measured by compassion, but by the ability to endure through the endless winter. On the ice-covered coastal slopes, reindeer, resilient grazers, cross wind-swept valleys in search of lichen. Their agile legs help them climb and run for many miles without stopping. Antlers act like twin hooks that protect the formation. During migration, the trails pressed into the snow can inadvertently become corridors a polar bear uses for an ambush. The bear's strategy is separation. An individual that drifts from the herd due to fatigue, youth, or a minor injury. On deep snow along high slopes, each step slows the reindeer. The bear regulates its breathing and closes the distance with short bursts of speed. And it is very hard to escape. In another case, when a reindeer is driven to the edge of a frozen lake, it may be forced to plunge into 32 degrees Fahrenheit water. There, swimming ability and cold tolerance help the bear draw closer. It gains control in the water and ends the chase, then brings it to shore, fast, controlled, and silent. The pivotal moment passes quickly. The bear gains control and pulls the prey onto land, prioritizes fat-rich portions to refuel, then buries the remainder under snow to avoid detection. A hard-won result that demands patience, endurance, and a precise read of terrain, a testament to top-tier adaptation in the far north. From desolate ice margins to vast gray seas, the polar bear continues its journey, a symbol of strength, patience, and total adaptation. Every step, every breath tells a story of determination in a place where life seems impossible. If this journey has touched your sense of the Arctic's harsh beauty, leave a small sign, like, subscribe, and continue with us into the next wild stories, where the cycle of survival moves forward with every breath across the frozen world.